Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. So Audi have launched their new e-tron GT. So let's see if this is some serious competition for Tesla and what it means for Audi. Well, it was such an important event that it required Tom Hardy to introduce it, because according to Hardy, he claims to be a regular in the future, given his role in the movie Inception. And given that, it obviously means he has a lot of credibility when it comes to talking about EVs. Despite him admitting he doesn't actually understand the movie, but he knew Chris Nolan had created something special, despite not knowing what it was, and as a result, he also knows what he's presenting tonight is also something special. So it makes a lot of sense that he presents the fully electric Audi E-tron GT. And I think someone just got themselves a new Audi. But just before we got to see it, it required a special song from Janelle Monáe, just to build up the electrified energy even further in the room, and increased anticipation of the reveal. And then out of the smoke it comes in all its glory. And we were fortunate enough to hear what Stella McCartney, the fashion designer, had to say about the car too, and how exciting the design of the car was, and talks about fabrics and materials, which does sound exciting, particularly how she also uses some of the same materials herself. And these are obviously important features for an EV, so I think it was good we got to hear her opinion on the matter. Far more interesting than some boring battery engineer or AI programmer that's been working on the project for years, who we've never even heard of. But I'm glad to hear they're talking about sustainability now, after all that awful Dieselgate business. And it doesn't stop there. No, it goes on for an hour, hearing about various people's opinions on how important it is. We even see an ad that makes sure it brings to our attention the fact it has Quattro-inspired flared wheel arches, because at the end of the day, that means much more than a practical amount of range at an affordable price point. It also has matrix LED headlights with Audi laser sight, which actually probably is quite important when the car can't drive itself. Of course, they cost extra too, probably not cheap either. And it does an astonishing 0 to 100 in 3.3 seconds, which admittedly is actually very fast for an Audi, and nearly as quick as a Model 3 performance. In the interior, they appear to have gone with their traditional layout, still using a lot of mechanical buttons, but a lot of screens too, although none appeared large enough to actually watch anything like Netflix on. Probably one of the best looking interiors I've ever seen on an Audi though. The RS version even has red accents, but don't get too excited, as they do point out this is an extra cost. But don't worry, they assure us the future is actually an attitude, and nothing to do with things like range. So they don't mention anything about range on the ad, as it's not as important as attitude when you have an EV. But there was more. FC Bayern is part of this too, the German football club. Now, what brings a soccer club and a car manufacturer together? Well, according to them, it's a partnership of like-minded people and a passion for being the best, a passion for tradition, and a passion for tomorrow. And Bayern can only win as a team, and at Audi, they can only stay ahead if they work together closely. So that's why they teamed up, because as a team, they can achieve what no one else has achieved before, in soccer and on the road. Although they don't tell us what it is they achieved that no one has before, and Audi don't mention what it is they are ahead of. And then there were even more guests on the show that seemed to have nothing to do with Audi. But they were all very happy with the car. So how much does it cost? Well, it starts at $99,900, and the RS model is $139,000. The standard model has a range of 238 miles, and the more expensive RS version has a range of 232 miles. That's correct. The more expensive model has even less range, presumably because the car is tuned for acceleration rather than efficiency, but bear in mind these are just manufacturer's figures, not actual EPA figures, so you may even lose another 10% of range there too. Well, it looks like a direct competitor to the Tesla Model S, being a large, luxury electric sedan. So let's have a look at the equivalent Tesla. Well, there isn't a Model S that really has any range that low, so I guess we'll just take the closest one to it. The long-range Model S comes in at $79,990, which isn't far off half the price of the RS, and if you include that swanky red stitching, it probably is half the price. So how does the Model S spec stack up? Well, the range is 412 miles, and that is EPA, so not far off twice the range. And the 0 to 100 time is 3.1 seconds, so slightly quicker than the Audi too. That's right, the Model S is half the price, almost twice the range, and slightly quicker. And remember, Model S are still using the old batteries. Imagine the difference 4680 batteries would make on top of this. This is a joke, right? Because in this presentation, they all seemed so happy with themselves that they'd achieved something amazing, and I'm blown away. Remember, this is only an Audi. They might have been able to get away with the high price tag with the Taycan because it's an actual Porsche, but the Audi brand does not have the same prestige that can get away with a six-figure price tag so easily. But we are in a boom, so a lot of people are making a lot of money, much more money than sense or style, and some people like to be different and show off how stupidly wealthy they are. Stupid most likely being the operative word here. Okay, in reality, I think it's a reasonably nice looking car, at least on first impressions, and I'm sure it's high quality, well made, comfortable, and drives well. The interior does look alright for an Audi, but there's just too much in there. Less is more. Teslas are just more simple. There's nothing unnecessary in a Tesla. There's too many buttons and screens everywhere, and the screens are too small, so it looks dated already. You need a big center screen these days. I'm going to assume it's just a basic EV and not actually a digital car. There may be over-the-air updates, but it's probably just for their firmware, not likely to increase your range, performance, or braking time. But Audi have done what they know how to do well. Marketing. Yes, this is all about marketing, with buzzwords and celebrity endorsements. Tesla don't advertise. They don't bother telling anyone how wonderful their cars are, because they don't have to, as all their existing owners are doing that for them. And instead, they can use the advertising dollars they would have spent on improving the actual product. I'm actually in quite disbelief. I thought Audi would have caught up better than this. Herbert Diess, the CEO, has been vocal about how serious he is about electric cars and is planning on investing billions. But this is all they could come up with, at such a high price point. I don't think I've ever felt more bullish on Tesla before. I don't know how the competition have a chance these days. These specs aren't even going to be as good as Tesla's $25,000 car. But, judging by the Porsche Taycan, it looks like consumers are willing to spend that much on an EV. Not that many, which is good for Audi, as they aren't capable of making many of them. At this price point, they may even be making a profit, as making an EV is so expensive for Audi to get any kind of performance, it makes it very tough to sell them at an affordable price. Due to its low range, it's not particularly practical and a major hassle to have to continually charge if it only gets about 230 miles. And as you have to keep it charged between 20 and 80% to avoid battery degradation, in reality, it only gets perhaps 100 miles of range on one charge really, which isn't great when you're spending well above $100,000 and makes road trips near impossible. I try to be objective as much as I can and not biased. I humoured and entertained the launch. I don't mean to sound like some Tesla fanboy, I'm just quite shocked. And yes, you may see other people review the car and give lots of positive feedback on it. They have to, or Audi won't let them review their next car. But all the reviews will be a distraction, getting into details that have nothing to do with electric cars. When it comes to electric cars, the main thing that matters are price, range, FSD, and after that performance. The type of headlights they have mean nothing. It's all just a distraction from the fact that Audi are seriously lacking here. Anyway, I've never felt more comfortable about Tesla's lack of competition than now. Volkswagen are the number one internal combustion company coming after Tesla in my opinion. And if this is all they have, it's literally unbelievable. Tesla are gaining a bigger and bigger lead. I mean no offense to any of you who like the car. I'm sure many people will. But as a Tesla investor, this makes me feel very happy. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.